Hello, my name is Marcelo and you're watching RPTV. In this video, you'll watch the members of the SDP plan and organize their goals. They'll discuss key objectives, outline actionable steps, and set timelines to ensure their projects run smoothly. You'll also see them work through budget allocations, arrange for child minding services to support members with families, and plan community listening sessions to gather input. Get an inside look at their teamwork, strategies, and the challenges they tackle to bring their vision to life and meet the community's needs. In this video, you'll watch the members of the SDP plan and organize their goals. Now, let's head to the video, where we'll talk about allocation and budget, child minding services, and future listening sessions.
The stakeholders table meeting coming up on November the 27th. We're talking budget and location, and I will let you take that away, Brandy, because I know you are doing the admin work behind this.
Yes, so as of right now, the proposed location was the Daniel Spectrum, but as we are aware from the last meeting, unfortunately, the Daniel Spectrum is not an option because it's during the film festival, the Regent Park Film Festival, so we will not be able to use that space. We then reached out to Dixon Hall Youth Center, the Community Center, as well as the UN Pavilion. And so far, the UN Pavilion has accepted our event, and we now just have to provide them with details. I can share the email response with the committee, just to let you know that they will host our event. But the community center in Dixon Hall, as of right now, have not responded. So our only option at this moment in time is the UN Pavilion.
If I can just jump on, sorry. I reached out to the Dixon Hall and they have agreed, but they asked for the number of people. When I told them somewhere around, 100, I contacted, Valley, but they have the space which they can accommodate maximum of the 30, means that's the 25 to 30 people. The space was very small. So I asked them, no, thank you very much. And I said, okay, maybe the Union Pavilion has been has a greater space based on the number of people. So they responded to me directly. That's the reason that I said, okay, thank you very much. And we are going with the pavilion as the number when I got it from Valid. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so just in terms of, I think we're chatting location. So maybe the first part of this is, we know we have, you said Dixon Hall, and maybe coordinating with Brandy to give her that information, who's the contact person, so she can reach out. I would say that I think so I don't know if we've ever had 100, so maybe, right? But I think reaching out to Brandy would be good because she's kind of coordinating.
Yeah,
and if you have
sure.
her contact info, but I think that may be a good way to, right? Because she has the numbers. We can look at the numbers from the previous. I think we're usually even for catering, I think we go with 40 or 50. Adonis, is that correct, or am I misinformed?
I think we went for about 60 actually, catering.
So aren't we dealing with the urban pavilion in Dixon Hall?
Yeah, we have that as an option, but Elena has said that she also reached out to Dixon Hall, and that's an opportunity, but she told them 100. So I think a couple things can happen here. One, we simply look back at the numbers. You can look at the past two stakeholders table, Brandy, and then we say, oh, that's the number. But
Yeah,
we have catered for 50. Marlene has said 60, right? So I think just going back and look at the numbers, that helps us too. We never get 100, and it'd be fantastic if we could.
Anyway, sorry, Gail. Because the Dixon Hall, it has just 25 capacity.
Yeah, that's kind of low.
It would be very, very low.
Yeah, that's very low.
Pavilion is a nice space. It's a very nice space. Yeah.
Is Adonis here? Because I think he always is challenged with the tech.
Right.
I don't think there's an issue there, but it'd be good to ask him if that would be a challenge. I don't know that he raised it as a challenge the last time either.
He's
Hey
not
guys,
here at
I
this
have
moment.
my hand up.
Yep, I see.
I just want to know, where is this pavilion? I've never been there.
It is just cross the Shoppers Drug Mart beside the big park. That
Oh.
big building, very beautiful building. Yes, that's a, third floor when you are going at the side. Yeah, that's beside the, I think it's a
You
back.
can think about maybe Popeyes. It's actually very close to Popeyes.
Yes.
It's where we
Thanks,
have the Wednesday
Wally.
festivals,
Thanks
Yes.
for that.
or the
Well,
Friday festivals, or whatever they are.
Yes, but she may not have been to them. That's why. Go ahead, Michael. I don't
Okay,
see it.
so I kind of think it's a little bit small, but we could try it. But I'm not that confident it will be a great space for this many people, even if it's only really 60 people. I think 60 people isn't a lot to get into that room and be comfortable. So we could try it, but I think our long-term solution is the community center.
Thank you, Michael. We've got Waleed next.
It's too big.
Yeah, I'd like to propose that we approve UN Pavilion as the location. I think it will meet our needs. I don't see any technological barriers. There's been many community groups that have done events there, but not as much as we hope. So this will be a great opportunity to also showcase that space, so that if there's other groups that are looking for space, they'll be able to see where it is. Ilona, you inspired me to think this way, because you're like, where's the space? So I think having the stakeholders table at that space will like open up the possibility of other residents doing events there, or going to events at that pavilion. So I'd like to propose that we move forward and approve this location. I think we need to do a save the date poster. We need to promote this at least a month in advance of the event. And today's the 24th. So if we approve it today, we could have a poster ready for next week, so we could maximize resident participation. We could also
make sure you have posters for my building.
Exactly.
I don't have a printer, and I'm getting a really hard time getting people to do the printing for me right now.
100%. That's a good suggestion, Ilona.
Please and
So
thank
I
you.
think very welcome. So I would like to propose that we approve it and not delay this by another week, because Brandy has done a great job reaching out to other potential locations, or the managers of other potential locations. Thanks to Elena for also reaching out to Dixon Hall. So I think we've done our homework between the last meeting and this meeting to recommend a suitable location. And I'm glad that it was reserved for now. So I'll leave it at that.
I would second that. I think it's a really good location.
We've got a hand up. Go ahead, Joel.
I'd suggest, I think if we get the save the date out as an email, I think that's fine. Do that tomorrow. I don't think it needs to be a poster. I think we do need a poster, and maybe that could be at the latest by a week Monday, and get the poster out 3 weeks ahead. I think we're fine.
Back to you, Gail.
Fantastic. We needed all of that. Okay, so excellent. I think what I'm hearing is we can send out a save the date, and the location, I think we're deciding on is the pavilion. Last call, any concerns? Looks good to me. Thank you, folks.
As we turn our attention to the critical issue of funding, members discuss how sustained budget commitments are essential for the program that supports Regent Park's growth and stability.
The budget. Is that also a piece of decision that we need to make?
Yes.
Is that a yes?
definitely.
I will let you proceed with what do we have as terms of a budget, and then we can kind of go through the same process. That last one was easy.
I believe we agreed that it would be in our best interest to use the same budget as last year. I believe there was, I think it was almost up to 1,400, but it was a budget that was pretty well diverse. It had the food, the childcare costs, and all of the other essential things that we needed. I'm gonna let Waleed jump in on this and continue with it. as him and Adonis were crucial in putting together this budget. But yes, correct, we do have a budget, and it will be the same budget that we used for the previous stakeholders table.
I just want to point out that we will have childcare. That's a must. So that's going to be part of the budget. But I'd like for us to endorse the budget that we discussed at our last meeting. I just want to encourage Joel to share that budget if he has access to it. I'm going to try to find my email so that we could go through it together to see if there's any changes that are required. And as soon as we approve it today, we can send it to the city staff as a business case for the November 27th meeting. So it's approved as soon as possible so that we can allocate funds for catering, childcare, and other needs for the meeting on the 27th.
Are there any concerns with the budget? I mean, we're not even seeing it, but I know we've had the conversations. Brandy, do you have it that you can quickly pull it up? Is there a dollar value associated with that we can just tell folks?
I believe it was 1,400.
Yeah, can I say something about that, please?
Hold on, please, Marlene.
Sure.
1,400?
Correct.
That's the whole budget?
Yep.
Does that include food? I'm freaking out. No, sorry.
Yes, it was.
Yes,
I
we are.
remember. And the food was good, really, because I was in the past stakeholder tables. The
Mhm.
food was very, very good, and everybody has
Hold on a
done
minute.
it.
1,400 includes, I just want to, again, alignment. 1,400 includes food. Is that correct, Brandy?
I believe so. Joel, Joel has his hand up. Joel, can
Okay.
you correct me again? Was the full budget was 1,400, correct? Or was that just for the food?
It's
The
whole
stakeholders,
budget.
I'm looking
So
for the
what
document.
we got, my recollection is that we were budgeted 1,250. Where did you get the 14 from, Brandy? Like maybe we spent more than that and found the money somewhere else. I don't know.
Yes, I
it
remember,
was
June. I'm so
1250?
sorry, but I
So,
remember, yes.
please, just give us a minute. Just let him finish and then we can go like in that type of order. Go ahead, Joel, please.
So I finished, my understanding is that we were budgeted through the city, through the 50K, 1,250. It's possible we spent more. We found some other sources of funding. I don't recall that, but maybe. And it does include food. And I believe our food costs last time were around about $900 or something. But don't quote me exact. That's just ballpark.
Food
And
budget.
if somebody else has more clearer information than that, that's fine. Please correct
Okay.
me.
Yes.
Can I say something about that, please?
So hold on a minute. So Marlene did want to speak. Next, we'll go to Elena and next we will go to Michael. Please go ahead, Marlene.
Yeah, is this the one where I went to Tridel and asked for money?
No,
Okay, all right.
thank you. Elena.
Yeah, I remember the total budget, it was 1,250. We
Yeah.
spent it, 1,400 something, a little bit extra of the 1,400. But
Okay.
as much as I remember, the food was included. If you have
Okay.
some other budget that it shows the food was separated, I did not see that one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Michael, go ahead, please.
So I believe the city originally budgeted $1,250 for 2 more meetings this year, and then we took $1,000 out of that for Sunday in the Park. So that means there should be $1,500 left. We are not going to have 2 more meetings this year. So I think we certainly have $1,250, and we should have $1,500.
So I think what we've heard is that we think it's somewhere between $1,200 to $1,500. We believe that that includes food and all the things that we need. Are we able then, as a next step, to say yes to the budget as we understand it, and then have those who are submitting the case just send an email with the case so we all have that we're not adding anything additional, like, without kind of coming back to this group? Is that a fair way to move forward? So 1, that we're saying yes to somewhere between 12 to 1,500 because we believe that's what happened in the past. And then I believe it's Joel and Brandy and Wally that are going to go off and create the business case to submit that. But before they submit, they will still submit that they also make sure that we are all included with a link to the document.
Total, like, if anybody, I have an invoice here, which I think is the total cost for the meeting, but maybe there were some other costs. The meal, we provided for 50 meals last time, and as well as 100 samosas. And that was at a cost of $700, I believe. No, I've lost it again, of course. And then we had the child minding, and we had poster design, and a few other food related things. So that's just a ballpark of what our food expenses were, as well as the others.
And the total is?
Yes, of course I had it here a moment ago.
I believe somebody's looking for coffee. Definitely, we'll make sure you get coffee, young lady.
I don't think we had coffee last time, actually, so that would be
Coffee
another
donation is from Zero Cocktail Bar. We'll make sure you have coffee. Young lady. Coffee is very easy.
It's not a big expense either, anyway.
It's not. Yeah, we got.
But
I got
just saying it wasn't there.
Yes, it's not Tim Hortons, so don't expect that. Alrighty, good stuff. You don't have.
But we do actually have a business case for stakeholders for reducing barriers to resident participation, which basically has about 1,200 set aside for stakeholders table meetings, child minding plus food.
Fantastic. Okay, I think we are there.
No, I don't think we should approve 1,200. I don't think we should approve 15. And I don't think we'll need it. We can use the budget from last time.
Yeah. Okay, so the amount, you're saying that right now in this meeting, we'd like to approve $1,200. Is that the understanding?
Unless people do we need more food than that? Do people think, or?
I would.
So that's one recommendation. Another recommendation is, can we do an approval of $1,200 to $1,400? So two things, either it's 1,200 exact, or we say 1,200 to 1,400.
No.
Those are the two recos on the table. Go ahead, Marlene.
I would rather ask for more and not use it than,
I think we're not understanding what's going on.
yeah.
It's already approved. We already sent in the business case. This is already money we agreed on. So there's no fight here.
I would, that's what my hand is raised after Marlene's, that we should, say 12 to 1,500 and see how many people are registered.
Yeah.
I said 14, 12 to 14. Elena, go ahead, please.
Yes, thank you. Jewel, I'm not sure that what type of documents you are seeing, but I remember the last time we checked all the documents, the budget was $1,250, but the other expenditure, it has reached out around 1,400 something, that it was over the budget a little bit. So minimum we have to go for 1,400. I'm not going, for more, but the 1,400, it was an ideal one because our expenditure, it was 1,400 something. If we go again for 1,200, we are in a shortage of the at least, around, 200 less and short. So it would be a little bit difficult. If we can make it exact 1,400 and we try to spend it as it is, and we make a, note that it should not be exceed, as much as possible, that would be great. But I'm telling you, I remember you have shown us, and I had that. I cannot find it right now. But the expenditure, it was around 1,400 something. The budget was 1,250.
We've got Joel and Walid's hand up.
Yeah, I spoke in favor of the original proposal put forward by Gail for up to 1,500. Doesn't mean we spend $1,500, and that will help us not have to come back to the committee if we have more people that registered. I think if we do have a lot of people that register, we might need to come back and see where we can find additional funds. But it doesn't hurt to approve up to $1,500. I agree with Sarah Jane, Ilona, and Marlene. It's better to approve more rather than less and then bring it back. And I think like 1,500 could, be a good landing point, maybe less, maybe $1,400 as Elena alluded earlier. So I like the original proposal that was put forward. So that's why I'm in favor of that. I don't want us to go down. It just doesn't make sense to me.
No. No. You have to leave room for contingency.
I think we should just, like, we've gone through this, we've done the work, we've passed it through the city, although this is one of the ones we don't actually have an answer yet. But we've done it. I don't think we're going down. We're staying even with what has been arrived at so far. So I think that's what we should do. I think that makes sense.
But the costs go up, Joel.
Well, there's a business case for the year that like we can, if we want to do a business case for a future year, we can address that then. But this is a business case that's been, we've done it, we've gone through it. We don't need to do it again.
We always nail ourselves to the wall. You know, something can happen and then we're stuck without the money.
Hello?
Well, but that was a decision that was taken. We've done it. There is also if you look, I've put it in the chat. We can try to seek other funding if it turns out that we need it.
Hello?
Go ahead, Michael.
Okay. So I think the city had approved $1,500 for stakeholders tables, but that was under the assumption there would be 2 more in the year. So I think it's diplomatic to not get into a debate with them about whether or not, because they had originally planned for 2 and therefore we can spend $1,500 because that's the amount that is left in the budget, etc. I think we should avoid that debate and just ask for $1,250 because they definitely agreed to $1,250 per meeting. I think we should approve amongst ourselves that we are prepared to spend up to $1,500, but that we not ask for that extra $250 from the city, and we just keep in mind that we may have to raise additional money if we need more than $1,250. But I think at this point, there's no point getting into a debate with the city over whether or not we actually have $1,500 in the budget, or they don't want to spend more than that per meeting, or whatever it might be that might be an issue. It's just easier just to ask for $1,250.
Okay, I'm back, and almost I'm agreeing with Michael when I heard that. We should try to lessen the fight. But let me see if there are any hands up. I think my internet is now stable. I don't see any other hands. Brandy, catch me up.
I see no hands raised at this time.
Okay, so is it that we're asking for $1,250?
We had previously said 1,200 to 1,400.
Okay, 1,200 to 1,400 is what we're asking for. Is there anyone opposed?
I don't think we're actually even I don't know if sorry, Gail, I should have sorry.
Go ahead, Joel. No, I was listening, Joel. Go ahead. Yes, I'm a little bit of a stickler for that. Go ahead, Joel, and then we'll lead.
I think, like, I don't know that we need to necessarily ask unless, like, our numbers are basically very, very similar, and we do have the document that we're working from anyway, and we haven't heard anything negative from the city in regards to using that document. And I fully agree that let's be diplomatic about it. And we have in that document, we have we foresaw the possibility that we might spend more, and we have a way to address that. Again, as what Michael suggested of seeking other funding. So that would be a push point. It would be a bit of a sore point, in my opinion, if we decide to spend more from this budget and ask, like, basically, and then we would have to ask for more if we decided to go above the 12. Let's call it $1,250. If we decide to go above that, then we would have to ask for more for sure.
Okay.
And let's just stay away from that if we can.
Okay, great. Thank you for that clarification, Joel. Waleed, go ahead, please.
Yeah, so at our last stakeholders meeting, we had about 75 people that showed up. I did the math quickly. 75 people multiplied by $20 per person is $1,500. I think we don't want to have just pizza. We want to have good food. We want to talk about the survey that we've collected through the evaluations and benchmark committee. We want to celebrate. We don't want to work with an austerity budget and then come back again and have this conversation over and over again. Some of the strong opinion that the original recommendation put forward, which was up to $1,500, makes sense. If Young Street Mission or any other agency, RPNA, I don't know if you have any money for this, but any other organization wants to help fund the stakeholders table from their own budget, that's welcome. And I think that could help us mitigate any other costs. But I think $1,500 makes sense. I don't know why, we're trying to just ask for the bare minimum when this is money that's budgeted by the through the 50K, and we've already put forward a business case in the past. And as Michael alluded earlier, it was what was approved per stakeholders meeting. So I will be supportive of up to $1,500, not less, because I do perceive there'll be other costs. We're not paying for space costs, but we need to pay for childcare. I hope Regent Park TV and other agencies and other organizations can do in-kind printing. So there's other costs that could be mitigated. So I'll leave it at that. I think up to $1,500 makes sense.
Okay, so I think we have the center, and Waleed is saying up to 15. We said 14, and he believes that we should fight for $100 more. 1,500. I mean, sorry.
I agree.
$100 more. I cannot count.
Constantly
Sorry, $100
devaluing.
more. So 1,400 as opposed to 1,500. Yeah, so I mean, that's the reality, right? We're gonna fight for $100 more. So I think we gotta be a little careful there. But the next person on this is Joel. Sorry, no, before Joel, we have Alona.
I agree with Waleed. On one account is we're trying to put out flyers and try to get a lot more people to come. And if we turn out that we get a lot more people coming, and we don't have enough, then something's gonna go wrong.
So that's
what are you supposed to do? Turn them away and say, okay, I'm sorry, we don't have any more food because we only budgeted for so much.
Yeah.
But that's my thoughts on it.
Thank you. So Alona is saying we don't want to turn people away for food. I hope they're coming not only for the food though, but I get it. Especially it's around dinner time. Joel, Marlene, and the Regent Park host. We are 6:05 with a few other items on our agenda, although this is really, really important. So, geez. No,
I think Brandy's ahead of me.
Okay, Brandy, go ahead, please. Joel, Marlene.
I just wanted to say, if the variation is just a couple $100, we could reach out to the community businesses. They give out money regularly, and it's a small amount. We can get that, like up to 5. And I have 2 offers for 500, so 250 each. So that can be done quickly. So I just wanted to say, if it's an issue with accessing money from the city by going over the budget, we can still increase our budget without having to bother the city. That's all I was suggesting. Thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks for that, Brandy. And okay, yeah, go ahead. Sorry, Joel, go ahead.
So in terms of I think we're a little bit mixed up here. At least it seems to me we are. Maybe I'm mixed up.
I probably mixed this up. Go ahead.
So if we're talking about what is our budget, there's no problem to have a $1,500 budget. Let's do it, and we'll figure out a way to meet that budget if it's needed. We still need to land on how many meals we're going to plan on, but let's get to that in a moment. Now, if the question is what's been approved, then I don't agree that if by the city. I assume but when we say approved, I assume we're talking by the city. because nothing else has been approved. And that is clear in the document that I shared. It's in terms of food and child minding, it's 1,200. There is this 1,250. Let's not niggle about. That's not a racist word.
$50.
If it's a racist word, I retract it. But anyway,
Not be a racist word.
Nickel and dime?
let's not bicker over $50, but let's so 1,200, 1,250. Then that's what's clear in the documents. Let's just work from what we got in the documents, and I'd suggest let's move on from there. The key question is, how are we going to make sure we have the right stuff available at the meeting? And I think we can do that.
And I would say as well, we have supported the entrepreneurs, right, in Regent Park, and there's also an opportunity to say, hey, entrepreneur, can you help us with XYZ? So those are pieces that we should look at. We've supported the childminders. Can you give us a rate of XYZ this time, right? Like we should be collaborative in how we're doing this, is my opinion anyways. Marlene, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry to feel negative about this, but I do. I'll tell you, in terms of raising money, the meeting before the last one we had, I went to Tridel, and they gave us $500. So there's certainly places to raise it. I think what it irritates me about this, and what, the fact that we go to the city for so little, is that I'm tired of seeing the city undervalue the STP meetings. This is a celebration for us. It always has been. The city doesn't see it as a celebratory event. And that is unfortunate, because it is a celebratory event. So they'll give as little as possible. All they can say is no if we ask for more money. But we always go to them cap in hand. And I resent it.
Yes.
And that's where my my disappointment lies, that they have no right to treat it this way. They rather not that the SDP did not exist. And that's been going on for years. We don't have to behave as though the SDP should not exist. We should act as though we have a right to this, because we do. We've worked hard for years for the SDP. Whether they think it's valuable or not, we know that it's valuable. So we should ask them for the maximum. And if they turn us down, shame on them. Then we go to others. We should be going to others anyway. I went to Tridel and asked them for $200. They said ask for $5, and they didn't blink. And we should be doing that this time round. Shame on us.
We've had great partners, I think.
Yes, we have. Shame on the city is what I'm saying.
We know your opinion, Marlene.
You do know my opinion. You're darn right. Shame on them.
Yeah, thank you. So I think we've agreed that we are good for this dollar value of 1,400, and apparently there's a 50.
1,500.
All the way up to 1,500 is the budget. We'll stick with what we're asking the city, and then if we need to get the additional funds to meet that 1,500, we can request some support from our stakeholders.
Yeah.
Is anyone opposed to that?
No. Not me.
Excellent. We know you're not. So yeah, I mean, I think I would like to see that we put on the agenda for future meetings, talking about either we strike the funding committee or start talking about funding, because it's going to take money to resource.
Yeah.
Regardless of where the city goes with all of what they want to do and things like that.
I'd be quite happy to go back to Tridel.
So that's where we're at. So again, I don't see any opposition. Thank you all. Good discussion, but definitely needed. Okay.
Another key area that impacts many residents directly is child minding services, which enable parents to fully engage in work and community events while ensuring their children are safe and supported.
At the last SDP stakeholders meeting, we have 2 childcare staff on site, but there was no children being looked after. Is that possible that we can send out in the communication to confirm if they're bringing their children, so that way that we can budget accordingly? Otherwise, the city is gonna find out that we are misusing funds and paying people to come to the meeting for not doing their job. So maybe we can get a confirmation from the attendees if whether or not they're bringing their children or not. That way we can consciously make a budget knowing that children will arrive rather than to have 2 or 3 childcare staff watching over nobody. That is my only concern. Thank you.
Thank you, Miguel. We've got Rabia, then Elena, sorry.
Go ahead, Rabia.
I'm not sure, maybe you already guys went through this, but since there's that week, the same week, it's the film festival, Regent Park Film Festival. So I was like wondering and concerned about the people, if they will be interested to come to the meeting. Sometimes we have a very low participation, so I was wondering how, I'm not sure about the schedule for the Regent Park Film Festival as well. They could be on November 27th. They don't have anything. I'm not sure, but I'm sure, guys, I trust that you are planning for it and you are aware of that. It's a kind of a concern or a comment more than a question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I agree with Miguel that he brought out the things that I remember. There was not at all any children, even they reached me out, the people that they were for the childcare, and said there is no one and we are waiting for a long time and nobody is approaching us. So we are going because we cannot, stay more than this timing. And we had nothing, to do. So that's absolutely correct. We have to find out the children are attending, means the parents are bringing, or they prefer, to put them, somewhere else or maybe at home. And if they are putting, at home, maybe that budget, it can be utilized for something else, which is more important if nobody is bringing children to this meeting, especially because it is inside the pavilion, the Union Pavilion. I'm not sure that we have any special space for the children. I have no idea. We have to find it out also, because I saw the salon. I just participated in few programs over there, but I did not see any specific child care area in the pavilion itself. Do we have to take it children to the Daniel Spectrum, or we have to ask them do not bring the children at this time and we utilize the budget for something else? Thank you.
Well, that's a lot. So I think the conversation.
I can't hear Gail. She's coming in, or is it me?
Sorry, I'm having a technical issue there. Yeah, so I think the conversation is around child care, child minding. Do we have any comments on this? So I'll say a couple things, and I think Rabia also raised about the events happening in Regent Park, specifically the film festival. So I think we knew in that, and we kind of knew that we would not have the space. In terms of child minding, that's why I thought Rabia was going to speak on, but I understand that we're talking about a budget and we don't want to waste money, but we also don't want to say to a resident, well, this time you can't bring your child, or say, well, you didn't sign up, so you can't. So I think, do we say you didn't sign up, so we didn't prepare? Because we try to get people to sign up and then sometimes it doesn't happen, or last minute they decided they can come, or maybe even the childcare they had thought they would have had is not available. The reason that we started to do child minding, because we wanted to ensure that parents could come and we did not want to exclude. So this was years ago. We really had a lot of discussion about this, and this is why we landed here. So now years later, we're saying, but we're seeing how sometimes folks don't show up. Those are some thoughts there. So I think it's either someone is coming with another proposal, or the proposal is that we should not do child minding this time unless Or we should not do child minding this time at all, or we should only provide it if the person has signed up and said yes. Would those be the two things that we're hearing? Because that's what I'm hearing.
Got Waleed and Elena.
Go ahead, Waleed.
Thank you, Gail. First of all, Rabia, thanks for your comment earlier. I did look up the film festival. It's actually starting on November 28th, but I believe they need the 27th for setup, so that's why it's not available. So there's not going to be a conflict. So that's out of the way. So I think we're going to have a good participation on the 27th. The second thing I want to talk about is childcare. I think we need to have childcare. It's a must. So we should at bare minimum have one person to provide childcare. There could be parents who can show up on the day off and register. So not having a childcare option will make our event less accessible. And I am strongly opposed to not having childcare. I agree with Gail's assessment that this conversation has happened many times over many years, and we've always provided childcare. In fact, the 50K fund, which is meant to eliminate barriers for participation, funds the childcare option for meetings, and I've been to many SDP meetings where there was a need for childcare. So I am in strong support of having childcare. Now, what I do want to propose is, and this has nothing to do with the budget, I know we're talking about the budget, is we could ask people to register for childcare as part of our promotions. So when we have our posters ready, save the date ready, we can ask parents to send an email to the SDP coordinator to confirm if they require childcare and for how many children. So that way, in the lead up to the event, we could provide adequate childcare. I think if we want members of our community to show up, we need to be accessible. In the past, we also had translation services offered as well for those that require it. We haven't done that in a while, and I think maybe we could look into that if there's a need. So I'll leave it at that. And lastly, I'm just going to say I'm in strong support of the recommendation put forward by Gail for $1,500, up to $1,500 as a budget. I am still trying to track last year's budget. The last stakeholders' budget. I think the $1,500 makes sense for now. But if we do need more funds, we'll bring it back to planning committee for further discussion and decisions. Thank you.
Okay. Oops, me and my technical difficulties. I may
Okay,
have
we've
to
got
move to.
Elena and Jules with hands raised.
Yeah, I
Thank
think
you.
Miguel,
No
would you
problem.
like to go before me?
Oh,
Because
sorry, Miguel, I didn't see.
yeah, the Miguel's
And I'm
hand
gonna
is a
join, give me a
little
minute,
bit
Elena.
faded.
I'm gonna join Brandy from another phone,
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
just so you know. So I'm
Okay.
gonna stop off the call and just join from another phone.
Okay, I apologize, Miguel. You can go ahead. Elena, you'll be next, and then Joel,
Yes.
you'll go third. Thank you.
Okay, so my comments will be direct. Sorry, they're a bit ahead of the next agenda item, the listening sessions. But if you had a chance to read the SDP refresh, page 34, at the bottom of the page, it says that it is the comment of a resident who says, with regards to negativity of the community, is that I will never send my child to those meetings. That is what I saw on page 34. Now, how do we reconcile that part that has been noted by the facilitators, I mean the consultants, that parents will be hesitant to send their children to attend one of those TCS SDP table meetings. But again, it's just to tell you what perhaps is the atmosphere out there, that atmosphere or the feeling of coming to bring your child to a meeting where perhaps they're going to be experienced violence or exposed to violence. I don't know. I'm just saying this out because I read through the SDP refresh, and the findings of the consultants. Okay, but we can put it aside. We can agree to disagree, but anyway, the damage has been done as a result of the SDP refresh audit. The other thing is, I heard also comments about value for money. Those who are not completely attached to the SDP, they may perceive that we are wasting taxpayers' money. If they find out, oh, I was in a room, there was supposed to be a childcare operator, but there was no children. So I guess there is some wasting of money at the SDP. That's all I'm trying to get the recommendation of raise of so important to register your children. If you bring them, make sure that that we have the childcare space. Yes, we need childcare space, but we need to have the participants. Otherwise, we put ourselves at the eyes of criticism by other people. Now, I'm not trying to over exaggerate it, but this is what's going on in this community. The first time they think is, oh, we're wasting money, without knowing the history or without knowing the facts. To the point of having a translator, whether or not we need it in the future, that is important. Just to comment on that, Walid, I think we need an ASL interpreter to accommodate disabilities. That's something we should consider, an ASL interpreter. That's it. Thank you.
I'll go next. Well, as partially, everyone has suggested, so I have a, additional suggestion. Why not we make a very small survey when you are sending, all the information about the stakeholders tables meetings, the date and the time, that the childcare, it is provided upon the request. Please, inform with so and so number. And just with the information of the children's name, that we know how many children are attending, and based on the number of the children, how many we need. And if there was no one really answer or maybe forwarded for the childcare, maybe we get the on-call childcare. By chance, if we have on the spot people, we can call them and they can attend the meeting within 10 minutes, because the childcare people definitely are living, around the area. So they have no problem of the traveling, maybe maximum of the 10 minutes. The parents, they can stay with the children by the time the childcare is reached. I think the on-call childcare also, it would be another option that we can, put it if we do not get any registration before and in, advance. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. I see a few hands. Hang on a moment here, please. So I think where we are right now is some folks are still childcare, no childcare. We've also heard, well, the city or others may be looking and thinking we're wasting money. We've heard of that. We also heard the history that, yes, we did this because we needed to be inclusive, because this was the acts of the community. So next up is Joel and then Marlene.
So I have two pieces, one on child minding. Adonis organized the child minding last time, and I've done it previously. I wonder if the group would be okay with Adonis and me and Brandy taking these comments away and figuring out a solution to this. And then, once we do that, we can bring it back to the group, but so that we don't have to spend more time discussing it now, if people are okay with that. The second thing is I didn't find an actual budget, but I did find the expenses for the last stakeholders table. So if you want to, I can share those once we've finished with child minding.
Okay, that would be good to get. Marlene.
Yeah, I think it's really important to have child minding, whether there's even two children that happen to show up. It's important that when our people come out, they know that they've got a place. We've always had it, that there's a place for our children. I think it's one of those services that we've always provided and we should always provide. The other thing I wanted to ask is that, the things that Miguel was saying that he's reading off, where people are saying, I'm afraid to bring my children because there may be violence. Are these one-off comments, or are many people saying things like this?
Well, that's a good question for the consultants, Marlene, with all respect.
Yeah, I guess he
Because
got
it
it.
sounds
from
like
the-
nonsense to me. I mean,
Yeah, he got it. Okay,
has there
hold on,
been
hold on.
violence there?
Hold on, Marlene, he got
Yeah.
it from the report, okay?
Right,
So you can take a look at the report as well. So let's leave that for now.
All right,
That was
just
the
asking.
comment, and it came from the report. So
Okay, thank you.
for that. So the offer on the table is that Joe and Brandy will take this away.
Sure.
Come back to us with something. So it's gonna be, are we in agreement that they can take this away, come up with some recommendations, do some research, of course, and then come back to us? Are we okay with that? We have time before the meeting. So are you okay with that? Is anyone opposed to that?
I just want to say that
Excuse me.
I'm
Hi,
trying to,
Jane.
I'm trying to raise my hand. I'm trying to find it.
Okay, no problem. So what I would love for you to do for me, it'll just help me, is say, hey, I have a comment. I can't raise my hand. I'm good for that. Is that okay?
My hand.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
We have to have in the flyer that childcare will be provided. And if the flyer is going to be printed next week, we have to decide that childcare will be there. And then we can wait for Joel to come back with the mechanics. But people that are planning to come should know that childcare will be provided.
Yeah, they will know. We didn't say there would be a flyer next week, but they will know.
I did say there'd be a flyer next week.
Oh, we did. Oh, I missed that. Okay. So is it that we're saying that we need it on the flyer and therefore we need a decision before? Joel, what are your thoughts on that?
Sorry, is it my turn? Sorry, I've got a barking dog I'm trying to deal with so I can hear. Are we moving on to the expenses?
No, we're saying, so they're saying that Sarah Jane, has indicated that the flyer is coming next week and we need to put in it that we're doing child minding. So we can't wait for your decision or your recommendations.
No, we don't need to have the recommendations. We just put it in anyway. It doesn't matter.
Okay, great. Fantastic.
To ensure everyone has a voice, community members emphasize the importance of listening sessions, where residents can directly share their needs, priorities, and feedback with city officials.
Next up, we're looking at the SDFA listening sessions. So reminders have been sent out to encourage members to participate, especially the ones that speak highly of the SDP. I'm reading what's here. Okay, so listening series coming out. I think that the desire is for people to attend the listening series. This is what the thing looks like. So there you have it, right? You have the SDP members. That one is at 150 River on November the 4th. You have November the 7th, your TCHC tenants on at the Regent Park Community Center on November the 7th. All of these are taking place 5:30 to 7. You have November 8th, grassroots organizations, 150 River Street. November 22nd, open to all Regent Park community. And that is at the community center. And November 26th, you have a youth location, Dixon Hall, 51 Wyatt Avenue. So either you click the hyperlink to sign up, or you scan the QR code, and light refreshments will be served along with child minding.
Which was the first one?
That is the SDP members, and November the 4th, 150 River Street. Do you need a printout of this, Michael, or you just need the information?
I think what I need is to know what they're doing for registration.
Oh, there's a link. So you click the link here to sign up, and then I see a QR code as well. So again, in terms of accessibility, if you need a different facilitation, I think Brandy could help you with that? Is that reasonable, Brandy, or am I speaking out of turn?
Yeah, I can stay on after this session ends and fill it out for Michael so that his registration is complete and we can get it out of the way now tonight.
Thank you. Michael, is that
If you want,
reasonable?
Michael.
Okay.
Excellent, thank you. Great.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And please follow us on our social media platform. For more information, you can check out our website,